talk tonight is Encounters with Culture. I have been blessed over the last 4 years through attending Luther College to go on 2 J-term trips, which is one class during the month of January to, one was to Greece and Turkey, and another was to Brazil. And I wanted to focus on culture tonight and my encounters with culture in those journeys because at Luther I studied religion and as my major in international studies for my minor, and I've always been interested in culture and impact of culture, particularly the context in which it exists, the history, and how culture for me has always been connected to religion. Religion is a part of identified culture. So first I want to talk about, okay, I need to use some, be loud. Okay, first trip I want to talk about is the first one I took, which is my J-term to Greece and Turkey. And that particular J-term course focused, the title of it was Traveling Acts to Greece and Turkey. So it looked at the book of Acts. And I have previously talked about that trip, specifically the book of Acts and the places we went to and how it tied into the events within that book. But tonight I want to talk about this sort of culture that also I witnessed and got to experience as being part of that trip. So if we want to go to slide, next one. One of the things with going to Greece, of course, in addition to visiting sites that are related to the book of Acts, we also are experiencing the culture of Greece, which is very much connected to its past with ancient Greece. So we went to places that included Delphi, and another important part of Greece is its religious culture, which is the Greek Orthodox Church. So another site I was able to visit was, if we go to the next slide, it's this place called Meteora, which is this community of monasteries which are built on natural-made settlements of rock. They're just kind of like pillars in this plain landscape. And these monasteries were built on top, and the only way you could get to them in the old days was you had to be brought up by a net from the base of these pillars. But now you actually could walk to them, and we were able to visit some of those Greek Orthodox monasteries. Another place I was able to visit that was related to the Greek Orthodox Church was the heart of the Greek Orthodox Church, which is the Patriarch. It's sort of similar to the Vatican. And this is a picture of inside of one of the churches at the Patriarch itself. And we were not able to meet His Holiness, the Patriarch, but it was an opportunity to see the place and learn more about the Greek Orthodox Church, which something that makes the Greek Orthodox Church is its emphasis on the use of icons, images of saints or Christ, or if you are to touch those images or you kiss those images, it's as if you are touching or kissing the saint itself. So that's the use of icons is something that's very central to within Greek Orthodoxism. In addition to visiting these places that are associated with the Greek Orthodox Church, we also visited sites such as Ephesus, which are specifically related to the travels of Paul in the book of Acts. But places such as visiting the Patriarch in Ephesus, are places within Turkey. And to know anything about Turkey, you have to know something about this guy called Ataturk. Because if you don't know Ataturk, you don't really know Turkey. Ataturk, which means father of all Turks, was a member of the army and ended up founding modern-day Turkey. And what he did in Turkey was he Latinized the Turkish language, which looked something like Arabic, this font-wise prior, and then he modernized it to letters that look like ours. And then he also made the nation secular. So he outlawed the use of a fez, which was like a hat that men wore who were Muslim that didn't have a brim, and he required that all hats have brims. And the Constitution actually emphasizes that secular aspect of the country. The army has a role within Turkey in which if they feel that the country is threatened in any way by becoming Islamic, or then they will overthrow the government, and they have done so quite a few times in the last century, but have kind of refrained over the last 20 years, which is good news for Turkey because they're actually having a stable government in that sense. And also another thing that Ataturk did was he emphasized that Turkey is a country of Turks, which is an ethnicity, but that's not entirely true. There's also Kurds and Armenians within Turkey, and they've sort of had to sort of hide their own ethnic identity and embrace this idea of being Turkish because you're in Turkey, and that has led to some rough issues. And if you've listened to the news at all in the last few weeks, something that came up regarding Turkey was they recently pulled their ambassador from the United States because Congress had passed a recognition of the Armenian genocide, which occurred in Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, in the early part of the 20th century, prior to World War I and during World War I, which didn't go over very well because of that Turkish idea and sort of Turkish pride. Another aspect of being in Turkey is the fact that it's Muslim, and it's a country that is mainly of Muslims. And that, for me, that was very exciting to see the Blue Mosque in Istanbul, and that was definitely an aspect of the culture that you knew you were in a different culture when you wake up in the morning and you hear the call to prayer, which you don't hear in Midwest America. So, and now I want to talk about my second trip, which was in 2008. That was to Brazil, and so that's what I really want to focus on because I haven't really shared anything about Brazil. And I promised colorful pictures to get us ready for spring, so I've got pictures of cashew fruit, which cashew nuts come from, down at the bottom left. You can kind of see the nut hanging off of it. And a pineapple up in the right, and just some pretty flowers. And some of the things you probably think of when you think of Brazil are the beach, the Amazon, which I've got pictures of those, and carnival and soccer, which those are parts of what makes up Brazil, but it doesn't really define Brazil. And to really understand Brazil, I want to set up the context of Brazil. We can go through them. So there's the beach and the Amazon. And there's Brazil. The boxes I have on the map are places, the cities specifically, that I traveled to. And the interesting thing about Brazil is it's kind of divided into thirds.